Best behaviour. Best behaviour. All right then. Well, it's 6 o'clock. I was about to say 8 o'clock, but it's 6 o'clock. So we'll get started. So welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know, I'm Julie Temple. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Essex and Ipswich branch. And I am delighted to welcome along this evening Andy Lancaster, who's going to be looking through the CIPD Learning Hub and showing us what that's all about and helping us find our way around. So enough from me, and I'll pass you across to Andy.
Perfect. Thanks, Julie. Great to be with you. I shouldn't say this, but you guys are one of my favourite branches because all my family live around Ipswich and Stowmarket and Colchester and all around there. So it's recording now, so it's been said, hasn't it? So
it's all right. Your secret's safe. We'll mute
that. Yeah, the secret is safe. But yeah, this is a branch close to my heart, which is great, and it's lovely to spend some time with you. Albeit virtually tonight, but when we get back into face-to-face, very happy to come up and spend some time with you. So thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules, because I'm sure you've had really, really busy days. So I was just going to get you in the chat just to get the chat moving. Perhaps you could just tell me what your role and context is for work. That would be quite good. I'm just going to share a little bit about myself in a minute, because we kind of sometimes wheeled on as head of learning at CIPD. I'll just give you a little bit of background to myself before I talk about Learning Hub and what we're doing around that. So yeah, let's get the old chat moving. So yeah, and if you're in a consulting role, yeah, you can maybe give an idea without necessarily saying your client's name, what you're currently working on. So okay, so Vicky's HR advisor, fantastic, good to see you tonight. Welcome. Best a tutor on CIPD qualification. I helped write the L&D ones. So if you've got any gripes about the L&D ones, about learning outcomes or anything like that, you can definitely talk to me. And we help write the apprenticeships as well. So that's cool. So great, Beth. I'm sure you're supporting all manner of people who you're going to be significant in their careers, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh, you're going fast now. Hang on, let's go back again. So Anna's standalone HR manager in construction. So construction context for Anna, that's good. Evelyn's consultant tutor, 3, 5, and 7. Right, so you see the whole gamut of folks on that. So again, Evelyn, fantastic that how many people you're supporting. Giles, yep, is a freelance consultant, yeah, and works a bit with me and the CIPD learning gang. So great to have you here tonight, Giles, as well. Giles and I conspired to wear the same things tonight, so we just about managed to do that. Amanda, returning after career break. Okay, cool. Want to use the hub, and I'm going to show you everything around the hub tonight, so you get the inside view on that one. So hopefully, Amanda, that'll be really useful. Stephen's in employee benefits, insurance learning, CIPD taking career in a different direction. Okay, so that's fantastic. So again, this might be useful to you in thinking about how we develop our careers. Mary Ann's an HR manager, Lexi's an L&D trainer, HR generalist for 8 years, and left become a maths teacher. Well, I was a teacher, so I was a design teacher by background, which I'm going to share in a minute as well. So I've got that teaching background as well. Kay, I'm not sure what your first name is, but HR generalist, that's great. And Simone's HR advisor. So we've got a mixture of people from learning backgrounds, those who are tutoring on qualifications, where obviously what I'm going to show you tonight will be relevant not only for you, but also for those of you, your students and people who are studying on your courses, and obviously people from HR backgrounds as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to take you through an fairly in-depth look at the Learning Hub. We occasionally do this at conferences, but you guys tonight have got the time to spend with me. So it can be interactive. You've got as many questions as you want. I've got some slides to take you through, but we're going to really have a look at the hub and how that works. So should be showing my slides there. Giles, you can give me a thumb up because I've got a thumbnail view. Is slides shown? Okay, perfect. Okay. So CIPD Learning Hub, and I deliberately used the digital imagery here because this is really, as you'll see when we go through this, much of this was in response to members, about member propositions. So I'm a fellow. So we got some really strong feedback around what we as an institute could do in terms of how we provide professional development. And we headed into this just as COVID was happening. So it's been an absolutely frantic 2 years on this, but I'll give you the background as to what we can do and what the hub can actually do for you. So this is a little bit about me. Me in 20 pictures, because you kind of Yeah, that's not me, but the top hat on, by the way, that's isn't by Kingdom Brunel. But a little bit about me, I often get kind of wheeled on, say you're head of learning at CIPD, and people wonder how on earth did you manage to get that role, for good or bad. So I went to university at Brunel University, so hence Brunel. So I did my first degree was in teaching. And I trained as a design teacher in furniture design and graphic design. So that was kind of my background. So you can see there, so furniture was my major elective. So I was a furniture designer by background. I still do a little bit of that even now. And graphic design. So when my team, we've got a big CIPD learning team, when my design team are putting things together, I'm always just sort of just checking that it's Arial 9.5 point or 11 points. So I get a bit picky around those kind of things. I then did a master's degree in instructional design. So my background then moved into instructional design, and I did my kind of research master's around that and got that. And that was really my my whole move towards going into organizational learning. And I'm forever grateful for a guy called Professor Duncan Harris, who took me under his wing and really inspired me around instructional design. I never thought I'd do that. I was more thinking that I was going to go into teaching. And as a result of that, I ended up working for a very big American company. I moved from education into organizational design. And AutoCAD are a big CAD company. Part of it actually spun off into Pixar. So it's my only career regret is I was too nervous as a boy from Norfolk, the first person in our family to make it south of Thetford. To go to San Francisco seemed like an awfully big leap. And I missed my opportunity because I could have been on the credits of Monsters, Inc. or whatever it was. So I got into computer design, which was really, really cool. Wrote the first City and Guilds qualifications in computer design, which is where I began to start cutting my teeth around qualifications. Then we live in Windsor, so I then got involved with some local charities in Windsor. Had a very different shift in my career and started getting more involved with organisations that were really focused with social outcomes. So we got involved with homelessness charities. I set up the staff well-being thing at Legoland. So no jokes about my height, because I'm only 5'6" and I haven't got a little blob on the top of my head. But I worked at Legoland for a time, which is absolutely brilliant, and I still love Legoland. And then there's a blood bag there because I had a major health issue, like major, and like nearly died. And I was lying in A&E just thinking, I don't know what I need to. I got so stressed out about some of the pressures I was under, and I had a real change of thinking about what I was going to do. So this is not that I took heroin, by the way, just so you know on this one, just because we are recording this session. But I really had a real change in my career, and one of our family actually died as a result of some things around substance misuse. So I changed my career and I went into in learning for one of the big drugs rehab charities. I became head of HR and learning for one of the big three and worked in rehab with heroin addicts and those suffering with alcohol problems for about 5 years. And that's really where I cut my thinking around organizational design and development. That was the first time I had to do that. So I spent a lot of time in prisons, been in most Scottish prisons. That's a great one when you go to wine and cheese parties to actually say I was in rehab for 5 years and I spent quite a bit of time in prison. That's always a good one. That's a great one at some CIPD events when you're with people of a certain ilk to pop the bubble on that one. So I spent a lot of time in prisons. My next role from that one was moving into working for a large housing association, working with older people, many of whom had dementia. So that was again where I really began to develop my thinking around organizational learning and organizational design. And as a result, we did some pretty funky stuff. That was at Hanover Housing, lots in the East, actually, Sudbury, various places where Hanover have got. So I was head of learning for Hanover. And we did some really interesting stuff around disrupting management development learning. And we actually won a training journal award. And that was where I first got on CIPD's radar. And I got invited to speak at ACE conference, the one up in Manchester, on disrupting management development. And I got there and I was on the big platform. There was a lot of people for the session. So I really went for it. And I said a lot of really disruptive things. I'm just going to slurp a tea. And at the end of it, as I was coming down the steps, there was a woman waiting at the bottom of the steps. And she said, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Jill White from the CIPD. Can I have a word with you? And at that point, folks, I thought that's the end of my fellowship. I've obviously really said something really inappropriate. And Jill took me for a coffee. And as a result of that, I ended up becoming head of learning at CIPD with a very small team. Team's 45 now, but very small team, and been involved with digital transformation, moving CIPD forward in how we're using digital learning for our qualifications. We won some Learning Technologies Award for some of the work we did with Avada, which was very, very cool. So again, we got some awards. And my main role over the last 2 years has been working with an absolutely fantastic team to launch the Learning Hub, which I'm going to show you tonight. So digital has always been very much in my mind, even going right the way back to my time at AutoCAD. I've always kind of been really interested in learning technologies. I'm now also chair of the board for Leprosy Mission. So I work in the leprosy sector, working worldwide on that one, which is a real privilege to be involved with that with some of the most marginalized people in the world. CIPD give me volunteering days to do that. And then there's me. Never thought I'd write a book. I was rubbish at English at school. My English teacher put me off writing, but I did write a book in the end. So that's my story. Now, why I wanted to tell you that is because sometimes we come to these events, you just never know who we are. So I had a really random career, but learning technologies have been at the heart of what I've done. And that's a little bit of what we're going to share with you tonight. So I've chosen a little Lego man there because I'd worked at Lego, far more hair than I've got. But what we're going to look at tonight, we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about how the learning landscape is changing. I'm going to give you some insights around, if you've not seen it, some of our latest research, so that you really get a grasp of how things are moving and how they're probably not going to go back. We're then going to look at some of the feedback we've had from CIPD members about what do professionals now require for their development, and how have we responded to that with what I think is a very, very cool product, the Learning Hub. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of a demo around some of the free resources and tools that are available for you if you've not logged on to the Learning Hub before. So I'm not going to ask you in the chat whether you've been on the Learning Hub yet, because if you haven't, then you might be a bit embarrassed around that. But I'll take you through and I'll show you what's going on with that. So firstly, how is the learning landscape changing? So when it comes to physical landscapes, we're very familiar with things changing quite fast. So this is, we do have an office in the Middle East, in Dubai. And you can see from the images here, 2005, Dubai was essentially a building site. There was a few foundations going. If you go to Dubai now, you can see the Burj Khalifa, and it's just a vibrant, incredibly vibrant place. So when it comes to thinking about landscapes, we know in the physical sense, in the space of 10, 15 years, things can change immensely. And what's been happening in learning is that learning, the way we learn, and we learn in organizations, for those of you who are tutors on our qualifications will also know that things have been moving incredibly quickly. And we've been tracking this now. We've got a whole range of research reports. And if you haven't seen these, they're totally free and available on the CIPD website. Go and grab them because they've got really, really useful insights. But the Red Report, Learning and Skills at Work 2020, was produced just before we hit COVID, literally before COVID broke. So this was pre-COVID data. And then we produced a report back end of last year, 2021, which was looking at the kind of in the middle of COVID of what was happening. So we got a before and after. And what you'll see here, and I chose the imagery really carefully, we've seen this move from physical to digital very much in the learning space. So COVID-19 really demanded changes around learning for us. We were placed in a scenario where we couldn't meet face-to-face. Many organizations went very quickly onto digital, and some of them had real struggles around that. So COVID, in one sense, there's not many positive things, folks, which came out of COVID. But for me, learning technologies and the use of learning technologies and the concept of this smartphone is perhaps one of the most significant ways now which we can use for our development was really accelerated. So I'm going to ask you in the chat, we're going to get you just to chat for you in your context, whether it's HR or learning, what were the most significant kind of COVID-related changes that you've experienced? So we'll get the chat window going. So again, just for you, for COVID, how is COVID really changing? Thanks, Giles, for curating there for me. That's absolutely brilliant. Really appreciate that. So how is COVID? So for me, while you're typing away, the seniors at CIPD came and said, we need to go digital, Andy, and we want to go global digital. And we've got to do this in a very short space of time. So we had to lever and pivot to do about 35 virtual products in the space of 2 months. And Giles, you probably might have been on one of those actually as one of the associates. It was absolutely mind-bending how fast we had to pivot around digital. So Julie got the expansion of hybrid remote meetings for everything. So we'd got this sense of suddenly I'm in the kitchen tonight. You know, I did a conference for the Saudi government in my shed, and the lawnmower was like just 1 meter to the side, just out of there. So there was this we're all working from home. So Beth was saying to deliver on Zoom. So yeah, so what we're doing here now, I've got slides, and we've got chat going on. For many of us, it was something we were familiar with, but suddenly we were thrust into this environment where we really had to think through about digital delivery. And for many of us, it was not something we were resistant to, but it was very, very new for us. So Manda had to enable remote working so I can be a consultant around my childcare. So again, yeah, for those of us with care commitments, kids at home, we had people schooling children at home, trying to manage meetings. So again, for us, just putting a learning lens on that, it was a really significant one where suddenly people, I ran training sessions very soon into this. We had a sausage dog on one of our CIPD sessions, and it was brilliant. You could hardly see the person, but there was this little sausage dog, right up against the camera. I'd never trained a sausage dog before, but suddenly we're in this bizarre environment where we're working remotely, and there were dogs and cats and all these kind of things going on. So Simone says meeting on MS Teams rather than in person. So again, yeah, and it's been a battle on that one. I've got a team of nearly 45, and we rarely get together now. So that whole relationship building, Vicky's put it there, building relationships that work remotely was really challenging for all of us. Lexi, good typing there, by the way. I always get typing errors when I work in the chat window, but you guys are very, very adept at typing accurately. So Lexi had to go digital with around 2,000 employees. Man alive, that's a big ask, isn't it? We had to adapt everything from face to. Do you know, Lexi, I had exactly the same. We had to pivot to 35 digital classes, and it nearly. We are recording, so I'll be careful, but it nearly broke us. It was just absolutely incredible what we had to try and emulate, as you put there. So that's a really, really good one as well. So we had exactly that as well. Victoria had webinars and podcasts, but COVID made it easier for people who would previously reticent to give it a try. And we found that, I'm going to show you the research in a minute, Victoria. It's absolutely true. What we found is that it's actually pushed us to really innovate. And sometimes innovation only happens when we get into a really tough space. That's often one of the main drivers for innovation, is sometimes when you're struggling a little bit. Marianne, at a whole new level, less trees being sacrificed to print. Yeah, we had the same. So we used to print loads of stuff, and now it's PDFs and digital, and it was tough. Yeah, Lexi, I get that. It was the same for us. So you can see what I'm saying here is I want to give you the context of what we've been doing here to support you as CIPD members, you as branches, to do something really significant for you. It was always on our roadmap. We were always going to do it. But COVID just got us to the place where we thought we've really got to accelerate this now, to think about how do we digitally support you? How do we support the profession? 165,000 members, about 4 million or so people touch point with CIPD. So that was the kind of the brief that came to me and the learning team to think how we were going to do that. So thanks for engaging in the chat. That's really, really, really helpful. So this is the pre-COVID data of what we saw. So this was before COVID even landed. And what we were seeing there, mobile-based device-based learning, this little smartphone or your tablet or whatever, we were seeing a real increase around people already beginning to say they were moving to that. So it's one of the most significant shifts we were seeing. And we were seeing apprenticeships were obviously picking up at that point because the levy was coming in. Nice to see things like mentoring in there. And we were seeing open learning, things like virtual classes were beginning to move. What we were seeing, and I want to be very clear on this one, from CIPD's point of view, we're never saying that face-to-face is not valued or there isn't a place for face-to-face. But what we were seeing is a shift away from instructor-led training, from people going on events, going and sitting in Novotel in London with a Danish pastry, as nice as it is to have a Danish pastry and all that kind of stuff. We saw a shift away from that. So we were already seeing before COVID that there was more of a move towards digital and mobile-based learning, and less perhaps around attending events. Well, we went, this is the 2021 Learning and Skills report. And when we asked, some of the most significant shifts we saw was that people wanted on-the-job learning or in the workflow. This was one of the biggest things. People were now saying, I don't want to necessarily go on a course. I want to be able to have those resources or those brilliant programs or whatever they are when I need them in the moment of need. Those of you who haven't seen the work, a guy called Bob Mosh, moments of need, when people often really need to have their training. So we saw this huge move towards coaching, mentoring, these kind of things. And again, I'm not saying that instructor-led events and conferences are not important, but there was a request, a really important shift to people wanted to have resourcing. So for me as head of learning at CIPD, the challenge was with the team, people are now asking for more accessibility around the resources we provide, around the courses and the programs. We don't want to have to book on something in 3 months' time. We want to be able to have it when we need it and when we're ready for it. And in terms of digital, virtual classes were right up there, but you can see a whole range of things that people were shifting towards. Social learning, which is what we're doing tonight. Tonight, in a sense, okay, we're on Zoom, but we're connecting as a group of people, you in Suffolk and Essex, me, West London. So this kind of socialized digital learning was becoming more important for us, as was things like digital programs, all those kind of things. So there was a definite shift. So the challenge for us at CIPD was working with our teams was how do we respond to create something, hopefully, which is absolutely brilliant for you guys, which fulfills this in the moment learning and a more digital approach. We also saw a real shift towards empowering learning. This is quite a significant one for us. If you look at the, whoops, I'm just going to go back there. I'm just going to move my tiles there. So the gray bars on this one are companies that don't have any learning departments, so they deliver learning in the line of business. So this is typically like, for say, retail, where you go on the shop floor, you go to the checkouts, and you find that they're actually delivering learning with an iPad. You probably see that in supermarkets, those kind of things. The pink line was where there was a generalist L&D approach. That might be HR, that's part of the HR provision, and the dark red is where there's a focused L&D team. And what we found here, this was really fascinating, was there was a real shift to empower learnings to take control of their learning. And you can see some of the things here. You know, the responsibility for learning has moved from the organization, has moved towards the learner. The responsibility for professional development has moved from CIPD controlling all this to supporting you to be brilliant in what you're doing. And you can see that what was really interesting for me on this one, those who didn't have learning teams were actually doing this better. They were actually in a position where they wanted to empower their learners far more. So not only digital, but a move to empower learners. And what was really interesting, when we looked at the data around this one, we asked how many of you are going to go back to the old way of doing things, or the pre-COVID way of doing things. And only about 18% of organizations said we're going to take our learning strategy back to what it was. So for me at CIPD Learning, the clear message was, Andy, this is now baked in, that this is the way it's going to be. And another research group called Fosway did a very similar research study, and they came out around 20%. So our sense, folks, whatever we might be in as qualifications tutors, as consultants or whatever, the organizations we work with, the learners we work with now have changed in what their expectation is of us. So for us, it really brought us to a point where we had to have a compelling new vision for what we can do with learning. I'm not sure the previous thing was that cracked up and rubbish on the pitch slide there, but there certainly was a move to be innovating more for you and investing. And in terms of capital investment, the Learning Hub has been one of the biggest investments that have been going on, which is so cool for me as head of learning, that this is what we've been looking across the board as to how we can support learners. So at that point, I'm going to just have a quick glug of tea. Any questions at this point? Before, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of the things that we have recognised that you and I'm a fellow here, what we need for professional development. So I'm going to have a sip of tea. Any questions at all? So Giles, you're beautifully typing in here. Thank you for doing that. So, so yeah, moving from courses to resources. That's that nice natty thing, isn't it? I think Nick Shackleton-Jones might have come up with that one. Courses to resources. We do like things that rhyme in learning or begin with the same letter. That's the nature of being a learning professional. So any questions around? So you're all good. So this has shifted. So what you're going to see now, this is really our response as an institute to that very fast moving market. Okay. So this is what our learning focus has been. This is what we've been doing. for you guys as valued members, supporting us at, I guess, the heart of CIPD. You are at the heart as well, but in terms of development work, these are the things that we've been looking at. So the first thing is we've been looking at how do we provide development anytime, any place in the flow of work. That is one of the design principles we've been looking at. Doesn't mean we're not going to do courses, not going to do qualifications, but there's the real sense of now the message is we need to get development to you wherever you want it. And that's been one of our real learning focuses, focus one. Focus two has really been thinking about learning embedded in real global work context. And I put global on there. You may not realize this now. CIPD learning, we work into about 130 countries. Our Future Learn MOOCs are in about 180 countries. So we've always been a global institute, but in terms of learning, the team I work with now, we are in a global environment. And what we're really having to do is to think about, and when you see some of the resources in a moment, which I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you through some of the things that are on the hub. We're really trying to embed our learning in genuine work context. This is not theory. This is not just giving you some theoretical principles. All of this now is being embedded as to how does this really work for you in your work context. We've also been looking at the whole thing. Actually, the numbering's gone a bit wonky there, but there we go. So the next one is we've been looking at career paths for you. I think one of the feedback we've had from CIPD members is CIPD often is good at certain points of your career. You might do a qualification, but if you're a senior strategic person, there needs to be development for everybody. So we've been looking at this whole concept of how do we build career paths. And what we've got now, and this is where we're heading to in a second, I'm going to show you what this looks like on the hub. We've now created 5 different types of products, 5 different types of provision, which are available to you. And I'm going to show you which ones are the free ones, which you can grab. We didn't used to have these. We used to have a whole hodgepodge of products. Hodgepodge is a technical term, which meant when you went to the CIPD shop, you couldn't quite work out what they were all about. The word masterclass meant so many different things. So the starting place for us, folks, was we actually went back and we had a look to give a really coherent learning journey. So we start with things called essential insights now, and I'm going to show you what they look like in a moment. So these are about an hour's worth of learning, asynchronous, self-serve on your mobile phone. So these give you a really quick insight into a particular area, and I'll show in a second what those are. Now, where I'm heading, folks, you as a CIPD member, you get this all free. So this is very, very cool. So you start with essential insights. We thought initially when we designed these, we thought this would just be for career beginners, but we're now finding senior leaders going in and wanting to do quick essential insight on what does hybrid learning mean. So these are really kind of pump primers to get you moving on a topic. We then got introductory programs, which again are asynchronous, self-serve online, about equivalent of a one-day course. But again, these are specific. You can access these whenever you want to. You get some of these free as a CIPD member. We do put a webcast in with these. So we have 1 or 2 webcasts through the program just to give you some connection with us. We're then moving on to what our development programs. This is the first group-based program. So we very much value people being together in physical spaces or virtual spaces, but our development programs are now the equivalent of 2 to 3 day courses. And this is where we really get you founded in maybe writing a reward strategy or business partnering, or maybe developing data and analytics. So these are the programs where people come to us now, and we can really help them get their foundation sorted out. We then got our very new accredited programs, which are very cool, folks. These are very cool. I'll be honest now, I don't want to do another qualification, but do you know what? I might want to do something where CIPD gives me some recognition or some badge or some notification around a topic. So now we've got these new accredited programs, which I'll show you in a moment, which are all online, asynchronous. In B2B settings, we do have some face-to-face, but these are 50 to 70 hours, and those are asynchronous. You do those on your own. And lastly, we've got these new masterclasses, which we're just brewing at the moment, which will be mainly for seniors, strategic, but will be probably, these will definitely be group-based, probably online, about 6 hours where we'll chew through the latest research. So what we've done, folks, is we've now got a very coherent learning path right the way through from career beginners, right the way through to strategic leaders. We have now got a product range which we can deliver to you on your smartphone, essentially, which will support you in your own development. Now, just to quickly on this is from some of our member research. We asked members, you guys, branches, members, what is really valuable to you in terms of, this is going back about 18 months, and think about what gives you value for your membership. Now, often it's sort of, oh, well, okay, I get People Management magazine through the letterbox occasionally, and, you know, I might have there's an HR helpline or whatever, but people didn't realize the breadth of what we were doing. And when you look at this, what's really interesting, members were asking us for dedicated exclusive resources for members. Very important. 40% said resourcing me is really important. 34% said it was important. So over 70% said what we'd really love from you as an institute is exclusive resources which we've got as members, and that's what we've responded with the Learning Hub for you. And what we've got is we now provide all the essential insights are available to you as part of your membership. I'll share how many there are in a minute, but we are now resourcing you. You get these free. They cost £50 a time if you want to buy them as a non-member, but we give those, and we also give you 8 introductory programs currently as that. So we're responding to what members have asked for. So those are the free resources which are available. So just to say on the behaviors, on the introductory programs, we now provide you with an introductory program. So if you remember, that's around about 6 hours learning on all of these core behaviors. So I'm sure you'll be familiar with the profession map, but the core behaviors you can see there: ethical practice, passion for learning, working inclusively. You've now got the equivalent of about 70, 80 hours of asynchronous brilliant learning, which the guys have developed around. I say it's brilliant because the guys have done really well on that, and I'll show what they look like in a minute. So those introductory core behavior programs are now free for you. Others have to pay for those, but you get them free of charge. And we had a whole range of people working with us, about 14 subject experts working with us. So we had a real expert development team. So those programs are really good. And just so you know, those are available by subscription now. And one of our fastest selling products for CIPD Learning is subscription, where people want the essential insights and the behaviors. And we've got major corporates now buying these off us to go on their own systems, but you guys get them free of charge. So I'm going to actually demo the hub in a second, but yeah, ethical practice, you can see there. They're quite significant programs. They will take you time to do, and they've really been designed to help you unpack these core behaviors in terms of what it means to be a brilliant people professional. They're not just, got to be careful what I say here. Some online learning is just videos. You know what I mean? And you just get a video with someone going ethical practice. The next video, the next 2-minute video will show you on this. This is not just video-based learning. We've got animations, insights, case studies, reflective activities. So we've built more than just video-based learning. You've got on these introductory programs a whole range of things. And we got some great feedback from these. This is just some of the ones we've had back. Core behaviors are really awesome, really inspired me. Thank you for bringing the profession map alive. What a great initiative. So we didn't pay people to do these just came in automatically. So we're getting some real traction, and if you haven't seen those, I'm going to show you in a second what they look like. The other thing, essential insights, we love doing these. In fact, I was recording in London yesterday for an essential insight on how to curate content for learning. So that's one of the ones we're doing. So essential insights for you as a CIPD member, there'll be loads of these over the next few years. And what we've got now, these are ones that are available already. So you get these all free of charge. They're about an hour's worth of learning, multimedia, I'll show you in a second. The ones which we're just doing at the minute, we're doing whole one on the menopause. I've done one on curation, but you can see hybrid working. So again, you'll request as members to get online development. We've now been able to respond to that. And lastly, I'm going to show you as well when we demo the hub in a minute, we've actually given you a new tool for reflective practice, which is really cool. We know reflective practice is really important for learning. So in the Learning Hub, if you've not been in there, you get a self-reflection tool, which enables you to almost create your own range of learning blogs about what you've been doing as well. So that all comes as part of the learning system. So I'm going to stop sharing there for a moment, and we're just going to go. Oh, there's some stuff in the that's great. So there's some stuff in the chat there, which is brilliant. So Anna's done the ethical one, which is, thank you, it's brilliant. That's great. I'm really pleased that that's really struck a chord with you. So I'm now going to demo those on the hub and show you what they're like. But as I'm due to start level 5 diploma, would you recommend the free resources are useful to support us? Absolutely, Helen. We've not written these in competition for the qualifications, but you will find that on your qualifications, you'll need to talk about core behaviors, those kind of things. So as a student, as a member, you get these free of charge. So they're absolutely designed to support you in those kind of things as well. So Anna says she's using them on level 7, so that's brilliant. So so all of these have kind of been developed in-house. So if I'm just going to plug a tea. So are you all good? Any questions? If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and demo the Learning Hub live for you, which is always really dangerous demoing systems live, but I'm going to do it live because I'm on the Wi-Fi sitting in the kitchen here, so I want you to see it as it is. So any questions at all, I'll have a glug of tea. You all good? Everybody okay? Thumbs up from Giles. Okay. So here we go. Learning Hub. Let me just get my screens ready, and I'll take you through. And I'm going to do some live demoing on here. Okay, which one do I want to go for first? Let's go for this one here. On Zoom, it's a really interesting one. If you've got too many windows open, you've got to work out which ones you're going to share. So, okay. So that should be CIPD Learning Hub showing. Okay, Julie, is that showing okay? Can you give me a thumbs up? I've got you. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Because you fly blind in Zoom on this one. Okay, so what you've got here is the learning. If you've never seen it before, the Learning Hub, if you're interested, it's actually with a company. We went into partnership with a company called D2L, Desire to Learn. That's where this one is built. And the Learning Hub is built on a system called Brightspace. So we went through a massive procurement exercise to work out which system we we're going to have. So this is what the system is actually on Brightspace on D2L system. And you can see here, I'm actually logged in as a learner. So this is me directly in here. So what I'm going to show you first of all, just take you a little tour around the hub. So you can see at the top, you've got a nav, and this is all this all works on your mobile phones. It's all responsive. So I'm obviously on a laptop tonight, but you can work this on a tablet or a mobile phone, and all of the courses adjust accordingly on those. So whatever device you've got, you can do that. So if you look at my homepage, in fact, I'm just going to have a quick look. Yeah, actually, if you've seen this before, then just bear with me. But some of you may not have seen it. Just so you know, of the 165,000 members, we've got around about 26,000 live on the hub at the moment. So that's quite a significant number for us. But there's lots more people who could come on. So if you've not seen it before, this will give you the tour tonight. So you can see my homepage has got tiles on with all the programs. And I've got a shed load of things on here as head of learning, so you won't get all of these, but you can see there's introductory programs, you've got essential insights. I'm actually part of the associate community, so we've got an associate hub here, which our associates come in on as well. And you've got accredited programs as well. And you can see on these ones here, where there's the little numbers on there. Oh my goodness, look at that. For me, I haven't been on this one for ages. There's over 1,000 discussion posts on ethical practice. 800 on working inclusively. So you can see it's a tile-based system. So I'm going to go into those in a second. But what I want to show you, first of all, we've got a self-assessment tool, which I'm going to do an example with. You can then, I'm going to show you how to create your own learning plan. I'm then going to take you through this reflective learning tool. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to show you some of the assets we've got there. So all good, all hanging in there. Okay, cool. I know it's a lot of talking tonight, but I'm demoing a product, so you're going to have to bear with me. So store your questions up and absolutely fire them at me in a minute if you need to. So that's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to start off first of all, well, actually, you can see here on my one here, you can see. Let me just move the tiles away. You can see we've got widgets on here. So actually working with companies, this is actually Aramco, giving away some of the work we've been doing. But if we work with organizations, we can actually customize this interface a little bit as well. And you can see we've got learning plans, which I'm going to come to in a reflective practice in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a self-assessment tool. So we're going to imagine, if you're anything like me, you look at the CIPD profession map, it's a monster. There's behaviors, there's knowledge, there's specialist learning areas. Where the dickens do you start with it all? I mean, that's the kind of question I've got. So what we've done is we've created a very simple self-assessment tool, which is just loading here. So this is how it works. This is not rocket science, but we've designed this self-assessment tool to try and bring the profession map alive for you and to try and help you and I to focus our learning a little bit. So what we're going to do is, you can see on the self-assessment tool, we've done it, and it's Miriam Stevens and her team have done this. I can't take any glory for this at all. But what we've done, we've obviously got essentially 3 levels of membership: associate, chartered member, and chartered fellow. And we've now got a foundation level, which we're looking at. So what we've done is we've taken the profession map, and across those levels, we allow you to go and undertake an assessment to think about some of the areas that might be interesting. So we'll do a chartered member one. So what this will do is, obviously, depending on which level you go to, it will automatically feed you different content. So if I go to chartered member, you can see I've done a few of these already. So if I go to my chartered member assessments here, you can see that we've got core knowledge areas. So it lists the core knowledge. If I scroll through, I'll try not to make you seasick here, because if you're anything like me, when you start moving around on screen, it can make you feel a bit ill. So we've got core behaviors. We've got all the core behaviors listed there, which are on the profession map. And then you can see we've got our specialist knowledge areas, which are the areas on the map where there's particular specialisms which we look at, and things like inclusion, diversity, all those kind of things in there as well. So what you can do, I'll just do a very simple one. Let's have a look at ethical practice. So Andy, chartered member, help me CIPD unpack this profession map. So what I can do is I can add this assessment, simple assessment, to my assessment, self-assessment, and I can say start the assessment. So what it then does, it asks some very basic questions which link to the standards, and it is subjective. So absolutely, it's not like some deep psychometric diagnostic, but what it does is it actually shows the areas and allows you to do some kind of assessment. So here, you're going to rate yourself. Are you early doors in terms of this practice, or are you exceeding it? So we can say on this one, I'll just give a few examples. So making ethical decisions by considering the best way forward for all stakeholders. Yeah, I'm not too bad on that one. So I'll give myself a medium one on that. Encouraging others to consider transparency and implications of their decisions. Okay, I'm going to say I'm a bit lower on that one. Challenging unethical decisions by and actions by explaining potential risks. Okay, so yeah, I don't mind challenging people around that. And then role modeling professional values. Well, I better not give myself a bottom one on that one. So I'll give myself a medium one on that one. So very simply, I can just, against those standards, we packed it in a way you can unpack it, and then I can submit in here. And what you can see now is it's come back with recommendations for resources which might be of use to me. So you can see, why not go and read the latest CIPD report on ethical decisions in the workplace. So you could create an action, which I'm going to show where this goes in your learning plan in a minute. And you could say, I'm going to have an action there to think about, how do I work with my stakeholders? There's another resource there, professional values, which you could do. We've actually got a course, which I'm going to show in a minute, on ethical practice. So what we've done is we've built an engine here, which will help you to navigate all of this, the profession map, and all of the content we've got. And what we can say is, for instance, I want to now, yeah, I like the idea of that course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to my learning plan. And that's something which I, is now in my learning plan, and I can do that. So very quickly, you get this as a CIP member, you get this self-assessment tool, which allows you to really begin to drill down, distill down things that might be interesting, which then takes you to your learning plan. So if I go to the learning plan, and again, you get this free of charge. And just to highlight again, I'm working Wi-Fi in the kitchen on this one, so I'm not doing anything clever here. You can see what it's beginning to do now is building a personalized learning plan, which is just yours. It's just what you need for yourself. So you can see already it's brought across the ethical practice course in there, which is in there, and that's something which you can do. And it's got I've already got a resource in there on people analytics, which I've got as well. So you can see you can begin to build your own unique learning plan. Again, you can go back and retake the self-assessment if you want to add extra things in there. So really, this is for you to build it as is. What you can see here as well, you can also create your own activities in here. Now I'm struggling a bit because the menu at the top is not dipping away, so I'm just wondering if I can get rid of that menu. Is there a way? Anybody know a way of getting rid of the menu? It's being very stubborn here tonight, and it's just sticking in there at the top. Anybody got any? You haven't got it on yours, but I've got the sharing menu. So I wonder if I can get rid of that one. If I was going to show you how to share a resource. Cheeky monkey, it won't disappear. Oh, here we go. That's fine. I've got it now. Just pinged it elsewhere on the screen. So I just want to show you. So imagine you got TED Talks. You know TED Talks. Giles, is that showing TED Talks? Okay. Now, is that moved over? Okay. Am I screen sharing? Okay. So imagine I've got a TED Talk here, which is on ethical practice. So what we can do is I can actually put those into my learning plan. So I can say this brilliant TED talk I've seen on ethical practice. So what I can do is I can take the link there and I can go back to my learning plan and I can say, don't forget, Andy, that brilliant TED talk you saw. You can add that to your learning plan, and you can see now it's created an action for me. So it's not just CIPD resources, you can add all sorts of additional things in there. And again, you can see there, if you click on that one, it will add in. So this engine here is free for you to really construct how you want to develop your own learning plans, which I think is really, really cool. When you've done them, you can mark them as complete. So you can say, I finished this, and in a minute, I'm going to show you how to write a reflection. So again, this allows you, we've created a way for you to navigate all the research reports from CIPD, all the amazing stuff on the website, and also you can create your own actions in here to create your own development plan. So that's a little bit around just creating the learning plans. Now, what we've then got is a free reflection tool, which you can use as well. So if I go to my reflections, this is, again, it's quite a simple little engine, but we're very conscious that a lot of people recognize that this self-reflective practice is a really important part of the journey. So what you can do there from your learning plan, you can directly invoke to create one of these, but you can create a reflection. If you look here, it's quite a simple engine, but you can add a new reflection, and I'll show you one I've got, and you can actually save your own practice. So I was at a conference for the leprosy charity where I'm chair of the board. So I'm going to show you one of these I've already created, and I'll show you how it works. So you can see here, you can create your own reflections, you can give it a name. You can see, for me, it wasn't I went on a course, I was actually on a conference. Now, what you can do is you can go in and you can tag your reflections against all the different areas of the profession map. For me, you can actually list here what was the thing you did. So for me, I actually attended an event, and it puts the date in, which is cool. You can actually upload some evidence. So what I've got here, I've got some conference details in there. I've got a picture with me with one of the guys from Nepal. I'm not sure whether this will open this one up. Will it open it up? Yeah, I can open it up. So you can see a picture of me with Ashok, I reckon. So there's me and Ashok. So you can actually put some records in here from things you've been to. So it's a really nice development tool for doing that. I've put the annual report in as well. You can see you can put some web pages in there. So I've put some web links in there. And this is where you can then put your what, so what, now what. So for me, I did some reflective practice around here about what I learned about stigma in terms of culture, dynamics between different cultures. So that's the kind of what did I learn. You can then put in there, what did this tell me about myself? So there was some reflective stuff around here that I've got to be a lot more aware when I'm in diverse cultural settings, that I can be viewed very differently from maybe how I thought it would be. And you can then see, you can then put how does this relate to your wider practice. So there's some thinking in there about, I was very unaware that people would call me sir. But they did call me sir because I'm the chair of the board. And it was really interesting about how do we maybe think when we're working in cross-cultural situations about how we might be perceived. So just to say here, that's all there. You can add your own reflections in there, and it will build your own reflections there in terms of reflective practice. So that's a little bit about self-assessing, creating a learning plan, and reflection. So I'm just going to stop at that point and have a look at the chat. Anything anybody wants to ask about on those ones? A couple of new messages at the bottom. Okay, the recording will be published on the branch YouTube, so that's good. Can you export your reflections? Great question, Vicky. Yes, you can. So let me just, so that's a really useful question. So let me show you how you do that. So you can export your reflections as a PDF. So let's have a look at this. So if you wanted to show your line managers, I might want to do, you can say, there's my strategic conference. It's around inclusion diversity. There's the results there, and you can see that I've got a PDF file which lists my reflective practice there. So it is absolutely that easy to either push out a PDF file, or you can push it out as let me just see, let me go back to my reflections. So yes, open a different window there, or you can export it as an Excel. So absolutely, that's absolutely the case. You can do that. Yeah, absolutely, Vicky, to export all of that, and that's what we'd expect you expect you to be able to do, to go to your manager, maybe where you have your appraisal or whatever you might have, your performance review. But also over time, what this builds is just a brilliant log for you of all the things that you've done, so that this all is free for you guys. We've designed this all that you get this free as part of your membership. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm conscious we're at 10 to 7. I'm just going to show you what some of these programs look like. So again, the programs, when you go in as a CIPD member, you'll already have all your essential insights already loaded for you. We've done all the work on that one, and you'll get all the introductory programs around behaviours. If you buy a program, I've got the accredited program. I might just show you what they look like. But if you buy a program, once you've come through the shop, flashed your credit card, we then automatically load your programs into your hub, so they'll be available on your hub or on your smartphone. So what I'm just going to show you is very quickly, because I'm conscious I've done a lot of talking tonight, but I really wanted to get into the guts of this so you really see what this is all about. So there's hybrid working. So I've opened a window here with hybrid working. Now I've got a feeling, actually, I'm going to stop share for a second, because I forgot to press the button, I think, to make sure I've got the share sound on, which I have now. Site looks like. So it's, as I said, this is not just video-based learning. We've got all manner of things which you can actually do here. So if I go to the introduction, you can see, and this is, I'm very humble, to be honest. I'm not just saying that. The team I work with are just absolutely brilliant folks. So let me just show you the little animation which we've got here, and maybe Giles, maybe just give me a thumbs up if the sound plays okay. So this is the introduction, this is essential insight, and the little animation.
Hybrid working can mean different things to different people. For some, it might mean the flexibility of working from home a few days a week. For others, it could mean added pressures of having to work in a makeshift home office. For organisations, it means re-evaluating their processes, infrastructure and skills to effectively work remotely and in a central dedicated workspace. In this course, we'll examine what hybrid working means, the benefits and risks, as well as what's needed for an effective implementation.
So we start off with a nice little animation. It's all accessible. We're now working on high accessibility standards. So for those who maybe have audio challenges, and as I said, this is not just about video-based learning. So there's interactive activities, and as I said, not going to mention names, but some online it's just watching video after video. So even in Essential Insight, we've designed a really interesting interface for you. I mentioned about work context, tons of case studies in here. And also, even on a Essential Insight, you add your own reflections. So you can type into a box, you can save your reflections as to what what you've been doing on this particular course. So that's an essential, what the Essential Insights. Then there's normally about 3 main topics in here. So again, if I scroll slowly, so it doesn't make you feel too sick on this one. So what we've got here is, again, here's a video. I'll just run this one off. So what we tend to have as a presenter, and then also we have an expert. I think it's Gary Cookson might be the expert around this one. Let's have a quick look at this one. Won't run this for very long, but just give you an idea of the videos.
Hybrid working brings many opportunities, but we must also consider the challenges. And I don't just mean my flatmate microwaving fish in the middle of the day and my cat walking across the laptop while I'm trying to host a virtual meeting. For example, when recruiting, we need to consider whether interviewing on a video conferencing platform is sufficient. We've already seen someone's CV on paper. Is it important to assess their body language in person?
So we have a bit of presenter stuff, and then I'll let Gary go for a bit.
Of what might happen, and organisations are perhaps not really believing that their employees are ready to embrace such things, and they perhaps worry about the changes they're bringing into the workplace and whether people are going to be embracing of those changes. And I think the reverse is true. People have actually embraced these changes in their personal life 10, 15 years ago, and they're waiting for organisations to catch up.
So just to say, you get an expert. All of this is part of what we do. And again, just showing you there's all sorts of interactive stuff to do. we're curating resources beyond CIPD. So when we write these now, we find some really interesting resources wider. So that's what an essential insight looks like. And then right at the end, we just do a quick knowledge check with you, just to help embed the learning. It's quite simple stuff, but we basically do a quick run through the content. So those essential insights, if I go back to, you've got now 25 of those available to you already, and we're pushing 4 out a quarter. We make 1 of those a month. So we balance it. There's some learning, there's some OD, there's some HR. We deliberately balance it across the professional areas. So all of those essential insights are there for you, and I love them. I think they're absolutely I know I would say that because I'm head of learning, but I just really love the creative way the team have put that together. So all credit to the team for doing that. Now let me just show you an introductory program. So you can see introductory programs. Now you get the core behaviors introductory programs absolutely free of charge, and these are worth hundreds of pounds if you're going to buy these. So here's the introductory program on ethical practice. So remember when I did my little my self-assessment, I had a look at ethical practice as one of the things I want to do. So just to show you on this, I might just zoom out a little bit. So you can see these are far more complex programs. So this would be about a day's worth of learning. And you can see again, it's all tile based. But you can see if we go into any one of these, obviously it shows you all your progress and stuff. But if we go into these are more significant learning journeys for you. And you can see on this one, the various, you've got various navigations and things which go on. I don't know, I might just play, let me just play this one, because I think this might be interesting if it's the one I'm thinking. I hope it is. Let me just play this one. You can have a quick look at this one.
Welcome back.
I'm going to stop it there. We recorded all our scripts in Braille for this amazing presenter. She's a presenter. She's a blind presenter. And she came in. So we're also, in creating these resources, we're trying to really role model what we believe learning should be, not tokenism around this, but really going the extra mile on inclusion. And Sandra was absolutely brilliant. And I felt absolutely amazed when we did the shoot on this one. She was there. She didn't have an auto cue like I have. She was reading live from her Braille book. So just even showing that one, I'll let her go for a second.
In this lesson, we'll examine what it means to challenge unethical behaviour. Imagine this situation. Rachel works as an L&D business partner. Her internal client informs her that he's going to award a coaching consultancy contract to a local company. She asks how he came to hear of this company, and he says that he knows the owner because they play golf together. Alarm.
So again, lots of rich media. We're trying to role model what we really believe about the best in learning. So so Sandra was just absolutely brilliant on that one. So that's what oops, let me go back to the home page. That's what an introductory program. So you've got about days. So you've got 8 of these, all as part of there. We wanted to make sure that in terms of the core behaviors, you had access to all this learning. And last one, I'm not going to go in great detail, but if you come on one of our accredited programs, this is what they look like. So accredited programs, now you would get a certification at the end of this. So this is just the new one we've done on organizational design development. We've got 6 of these. We're just developing strategic workforce planning, I&D, but you can see that these are really significant. These are about 50 to 70 hours worth of learning. And again, I can say I'm proud of the team on this one. The team have done an absolutely brilliant job on this one. So again, you can see here that it's all case study driven. Again, I'm just struggling a little bit here with all the windows open, but you can see that all of this has been designed with rich media, all these kind of things for you to do. So this is you can see again all different resources, all sorts of things, clickables and all those kind of things. So again, if you purchase now, we're able to deliver these accredited programs to you, and these are the current about half a qualification now we can do online. So I'm just going to stop sharing there to say that's the CIPD Learning Hub. 2 years worth of hard work for the team. But no worry, Evelyn's had to disappear off. That's absolutely fine. No worries at all. We're gonna be finishing fairly soon. But just to say, this is now as members, we really listen to members. I'm a member. That this development in the flow, not going on a course, but development in the flow of work, development to a mobile device, and free content for you is really important. So going forward, Essential Insights, you will get all of those free. That's part of your membership. That's all part of what we're going to provide for you. And as I said, the behaviours in there. The other courses can be purchased as well. Anna says it's nice to listen to. Yeah, Sandra's really interesting. It goes a bit slower. I'm really fast in the way I present, but the fact she's just reading from Braille, it just really paces it really, really beautifully. So just to kind of finish off, let me just run this again. I've got a couple more slides and then we're going to finish and just give you a chance to ask any questions. So there we go. So that's the new CIPD Learning Hub. It's been a real privilege to be involved with helping to kind of create this and bring this to market with a team, and any feedback from you would be absolutely welcome. So I just want to show you, we've currently got about 26,000 members who are live on here, and we're in about 100 and something countries. I just want to show you this slide just to show you it's really interesting. There's a little bit of an overlap there, but in terms of member, obviously we've got loads of analytics. The analytics behind this is just absolutely crazy. So I want to show you on membership grade. You can see, I thought there might be lots of students using this, because obviously they might be doing their quals, but you can see associate is the biggest group. So we know that associates, 46% of those who are now accessing the hub resources are in associate roles. Okay, you can see that fellows, well, actually, what's fellows got? We've got chartered fellows around about, yes, 6% or whatever. So we're seeing a whole range of membership grades coming across. And what's really encouraging for me, the one on the right-hand side, is we're seeing a whole range. This is not just a certain age demographic here. We're seeing a whole range of people, even the 65 or overs are getting their hand in on here. So this is not age related. So it's just very, very cool that we're now seeing a whole range of people now accessing these free resources, and the self-assessment tool and the reflective blog, all those kind of things are available. So just to finish off, the summary is we're really trying to support you guys to be brilliant. You are brilliant, but we know that we need to all be engaging in professional development. So now you can access this anytime, anywhere with this jolly little smartphone. Development needs linked to the profession map. We've now created learning pathways right the way from Essential Insights right the way through to accredited programs, where now we've got products which allow for all of us to be engaged in that kind of professional development. And for members, you've got the introductory programs and the Essential Insights free for you to use. So any questions? I'm going to stop there and definitely have a slurp of tea there, because I know I've been talking for a fair time, but obviously trying to demo this tonight. So let's just stop sharing there. Okay, can you use the hub content to go up a grade? That's a really interesting question. So Amanda, the answer is yes, because if you were doing say an experience assessment route, often you have to demonstrate your learning. So the answer is yes. Now what I can say to you, I've got to be a little bit careful here because we're not quite there. We're actually looking now at accredited programs as a route to support membership progression. So we're currently working with Zoe, Ryan and the guys there, because obviously the accredited programs are significant slugs of learning. When I say slug, that again is a technical term, it's a positive term, as opposed to a slug like a snail, but a good slug of learning. Those resources, those courses will be recognised as part of your assessment evidence. So that's something we're looking to do that more and more, and that will be something which will be happening. Is CIPD in Iceland? I'd have to have a check on that, and I can have a look and see if CIPD is in Iceland. I would be very surprised if there wasn't, because there's so many countries. Let's have a quick. I'm just got all the questions here. Vicky says I wasn't sure if they were all there. I logged in, and there is so many in my hub area. Okay, so when you log on to the CIPD as a member onto the website, it should automatically be one sign on, and we should have posted all your resources. So there will be quite a lot, because you'll have all your Essential Insights already loaded for you. Let's see what else we've got here as well. Thank you. Yes, it'd be nice to see the learning time recognised now. Yeah, I agree, Amanda. Totally agree with you. So I think what we're recognising is essential insights are quite quick 1 hour sorts of things, but what they are quite useful for, I think, is your reflective practice as well. So that's good. Vicky, so I'll be using some of these, my level 7 apprenticeship. This is awesome. Thank you. We love the word awesome. That's great. Thanks for the encouragement on that one. Will you ever take like the level 7 program over, like what in terms of digital, Anna, in terms of moving more digital? Yeah, we're looking increasingly at digital. We will provide face-to-face, but obviously this digital thing is really, really important for us. Anything else? Thank you for all sticking in there with me as well, because I know I've been talking for a reasonable amount of time. We've done about an hour. But any other questions? FutureLearn partners, yeah. So FutureLearn, our MOOCs now, we have had on our FutureLearn MOOCs now, we've had 200,000 people through those. 200, it rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? 200,000 people from 180 countries have now been on our digital MOOCs, which are free. Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, that's just so cool. Beth says, thank you. This will be great for me as a new member, but I'm also introduced my students. Absolutely, Beth. So do get in there. The essential insights, the one on hybrid learning, I've just been doing that myself. We're working this week. I was recording the one on curation for learning. Those of you learning development professionals, I've done a whole one on curated learning. We've got one on the menopause coming out. We're doing a lot of work around menopause at work. So we're just recording those ones. So one thing we can get you to help us with is what you'd like essential insights in. So as part of our member surveys, we're going to start asking you what you may like. What we're tending to do at the minute is look at hot topics like hybrid working, those kind of things. Anna says, how do we get the free one that was higher up? Was a higher up course. The introductory program should be on your profiles as CIPD members. You should have all the introductory programs there. The accredited programs, you would have to buy those. So if I just go, I might just go to the CIPD shop, just show you where you would go to get those. Okay, let me just log on to the shop and I can show you where you would find those. Okay, shall I just do a quick screen share and show you the shop if you're interested in those? Amanda says career returners section would be useful. Yeah, that's a really good one. Amanda, that's a really cool one. So yeah, let me take that one back because that would be a really good one. So let me just show you the CIPD shop. Okay, so this is a CIPD learning shop. So if you just Google CIPD learning shop, what you've got, if I show you the course types, what you've got there is essential insights, introductory programs, development programs, and accredited programs. So if I go to the essential insights in the shop, you can see all of those essential insights are products and they're 50 quid each. So if someone isn't a CIPD member, that's how much it costs. You get these free of charge. So already you've got, blimey, you've got 20 times 50 quid. So that's all free. So you can see all of those essential insights are in there. Now down the side menu here, if you want to look at accredited programs, let's just take off the essential insights. The accredited programs, you can see there all the ones. I mean, Giles has actually been one of the associates working with us on the business partnering one, which has been really, really cool. So a huge call out to Giles for that one. But you can see leading learning development, organizational design developments. You can see these programs are, yeah, 1,700, but they are half a qualification, and also you get these are fully accredited programs. So if you get these, you get a certificate from us to say you've done an accredited program in people analytics. So that's where you would buy those, and the minute you buy those, then they are automatically put onto your profile. So it's, yeah, I don't know how the technology works, bless the people who do that, but the minute you flashed your credit card and you bought a development program, it automatically puts it onto your profile. It appears there for you. Simone says it's been super helpful. I had learning fatigue for a long while, but I'm raring to go. That's so cool, Simone. That's made it worthwhile me coming out tonight with my cup of tea and talking. So if that's inspired you, I'll take that. That's absolutely brilliant. So just get on there. Those essential insights, they're really cool. So Julie, I think I know we'd said about an hour and a half, but I think an hour of me is probably enough. So just to say that's kind of that's the learning hub. That's what we're doing. It's a privilege to be kind of leading the learning team at the minute. There's lots of great stuff going on. So just to say that, that's the deal really. That's so just get in there and it's all there for you. I'm going to be really cheeky as well. if you wanted to, the book I've written is on how learning is now moving into the flow of work. So that's if you want to, you can have my. This is going on recording, isn't it? So I'm giving away my author's discount to everybody who watches this jolly video, which is okay. That's fine. So you can buy the book at the same price I bought them for as well. So Andy's book, designing or driving performance through learning. There's lots of thinking about how, in some ways, that's underpinning a lot of what we've been doing ourselves. I've been writing the book as we've been doing this stuff. So if that's of help to you, you can have my author's discount code. Lexi says, great book, highly thank you. That's really cool. But a lot of the thinking behind what we've been doing here is in that. So Julie, thanks for that. Great to be with you. Thanks for taking an hour out of your evening. It's just a privilege to be working with branches. You guys are absolutely brilliant in what you're doing. And I just really hope the work we're doing at CIPD Learning is really going to support you, going to be useful to you. You've asked for free learning resources. We're really trying to make that happen. And hey, we're touching the ends of the earth, 180 countries. That's so cool. That's CIPD now supporting development across the world. So thank you, guys. Julie, back to you. Thanks, Stephen, for the messaging there. Let's go and do some free learning. So it's all there for you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Andy. That is a fantastic resource. It's not something I've actually looked at because I'm not very time rich, but I'm certainly going to be dipping into that. And there's some looks like there's some great stuff in there, and I'll certainly be championing it across the branch and encouraging everyone to take a look. So thank you very much, and thank you for allowing us to record it tonight, and thank you ever so much as well for sharing your discount for your book as well. So
yeah, well, this is about getting the information out, isn't it? So
yeah,
if anybody ever tells you you're going to get rich by writing a book, you never will. Okay, but this is about sharing our information. So if that's of use to you guys, you can have that. But yeah, do spread the word. I guess part of me, Julie, is I'm not disappointed. But we've got 160,000 members. We've got about 26,000 people on the system already. But that's a lot of CIPD members who are not. And occasionally I see, oh, what do I get for my CIPD membership? And people haven't even realised they've got this. So do spread the word. That would be really appreciated from me and the CIPD Learning team. Julie, thanks.
Yeah, well, we'll when the recording goes live, we'll certainly pop it on our socials and encourage people to have a look at that. So. All right, well, I think that is probably enough for tonight. We're finishing within the time, which is great. So we're giving the gift of time back to everyone this evening. So thank you ever so much for, as you say, Andy, for taking the time out to come along. And thank you, Andy, for taking the time to show us around. Safe journey up to Suffolk for you.
Yep, thank you.
It is currently, I think, dry, so hopefully it should be all right.
So yeah, so I've got my eye on the service station at Newmarket. Some of you will know the one I mean. So there's a Starbucks on the way there. I'm on my way there. So that's cool.
a good place to aim for.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks as well to Giles, who's been popping lots of useful things as always into the chat. Always an excellent source of information, Giles. So thank you. And yeah, so everyone have a great rest of the evening, and keep a lookout on our through the newsletter, and also on the Eventbrite page, etc., for events that we've got coming up. There will be an employment law update when the world of government has settled down a little bit, which looks like it might be some time yet to come. And we've got some other great, exciting events coming up as well. So that's all from me, as they say, and have a great evening. And thank you again, Andy.
Hope to see you soon. Take care.